So, on this fine, wonderful day, let's go to Starbucks to draw some IRL people with my good old-fashioned green ballpoint pen. Why? Why not? Let's go. But first, two things. So first, look at this beef I got cooking. So I ate this grilled beef thing at this Japanese restaurant, and it comes with a salad, some soup to cleanse the palate, and a pretty generous bowl of rice, which I took. So the idea is that you grill it on this hot table plate until it's perfectly crispy, and then you dip it in this scalding hot garlic butter thing, and it's so fatty but it was so good, yum. And after that we went to Weeb Heaven to look for merch. I was looking for a Zoro figure to complete my collection, but like every other anime shop here, I just couldn't find it, which was really unfortunate. But they did have this really cool Rayleigh figurine. I was surprised that he has a figure of all people, but honestly I'm glad he did. He means a lot to me. And after dilly-dallying, we went to the place itself, and as someone who despises noise and crowds, I genuinely enjoyed the chitter-chatter of people at Starbucks itself. It just reminded me that even as I have nothing to do now, I was once busy like them as I was grinding to look for an internship. Anyway, philosophical stuff, but yeah, we're now seeing the very first sketch that I drew on this fun trip. So as I was doing this, I remembered feeling very anxious over whether or not the person I was drawing A, noticed, which I doubt, but anyway, even if they did notice, then the second concern of B comes in, and it is if they did notice me, would they ask me to stop? Because admittedly, it's kind of creepy. So as the process went on, I realized that it's not too bad. My focus eventually shifted inwards towards making sure that I got the subject's likeness down with the few fleeting glances I got. This is also the time where I had to adjust myself to drawing traditionally with a pen again, which is not as difficult as I thought in the grand scheme of things, but I really enjoyed the way I drew the first subject's nose and hair. I thought those were very shapely, and it's not a bad attempt at something relatively new. It's a good first step in the right direction for the day. So at this point, I've started to establish a sort of momentum of how I want this day to go. And right now on screen, you're seeing my absolute favorite sketch of all time, and it's the one on my thumbnail actually. So in real life, for context, this individual that I'm sketching out now is a teenager. And they're discussing a group project of sorts with someone opposite them, an associate, for lack of a better word. As I was drawing this person, I really liked how I depicted their really tired expression as well as their poofy hair. I feel there's just so much personality there, and I could hear the no thoughts, hit empty vibe from the sketch I drew. This page in particular, even though I didn't show every sketch, is my favorite out of the lot of them. At this point, I mentioned earlier, I got into the groove of how I wanted the process to go. I was getting a hang of simplifying people's features and getting their likeness down in a fleeting moment. I think it's kind of beautiful to not only glimpse at someone and notice them, but to also pen it down in a drawing. I find it rather beautiful to sort of preserve people in the most lively state of hustling, studying, talking, drinking coffee, at the most vulnerable, I guess, if that makes any sense. At the most natural state, I guess, let's put it that way. I won't say these sketches were particularly productive in helping me improve as an artist, but they sort of instead made me feel more connected to the real world, especially when I look back on them in hindsight, and I kind of just sort of remember these people, I guess. Also, so sorry for the construction noise if you can hear it. I'm like recording this voice over like super erratically. But anyway, the sketch that you're seeing now taught me like the most about this process of like urban sketching. So this old lady, for context, was sitting some distance away from me, and like I didn't really get the best like view of the details on her face. But despite that, I could very clearly tell that this is an old lady, and as I was drawing her, I really had to think about like, oh, because this person is so far away, like what about their appearance sort of signals to me that this person is an old lady. Like for me, these codes, I suppose, include like her tired expression, the slight furrow in her eyebrows, and to some extent the way she sat, like her posture. And trying to like incorporate all these like general broader like codes or like signals is the way for me to like get her likeness down like efficiently, especially since I don't really have much time to like slowly map things out bit by bit. I really like how this sketch turned out. I think it's very shapely, and yeah, I just think it's really aesthetically pleasing. I think she's very cute. I like her hair, not to be narcissistic because it looks like mine. Also, shout out to my favorite page of all time. Mwah. Every single sketch on this is a banger. Mwah. So like, even though this was a very fast-paced like session, all of my sketches start out very slowly and hesitantly, namely this weird-ass circle and then the teething that people do to like anchor like the eyes, the jaw, and the mouth as correctly as possible onto the face. Usually like in these videos, I tend to like cut all of that out, but I think it'll be nice to like show you the process of actually establishing that foundation to sort of like remind you, if you're still like not very confident in drawing, that doing the prep work takes time, and it's time well spent, especially if it makes you feel more confident, like in moving on to the final product, you know what I mean? The act of drawing is actually quite slow and deliberate for me, but in the wild, like today, in an unfamiliar environment where my ass is sore from sitting for too long, I was forced to like hurry up a little bit, especially when I want to like cement like a real moving person whose expression and facial angle sort of changes every couple seconds. Especially like at the beginning when I felt like so out of it, right? The process of trying to like nail down a specific person, especially without like a clear pipeline, resulted in drawings that were quite inconsistent in quality. Like I said, it got better with my favorite page, but I feel like after that favorite page, it all just went downhill from there. Like I was clearly just too tired to bother like paying attention to this sort of code thing that I mentioned earlier, and the sketches later tend to look pretty bad, so they're not really included here. I guess it's just life. Some things are just better than others. Some sketches are just better than others, sorry. And also, pay attention to this sketch now. There's no real like educational value in it. I just really liked how this sketch turned out. This person that I'm drawing now has been here for like quite a while now, like several hours. And I've only decided to draw them like pretty late in the game, but like I'm glad I eventually drew them anyway. I really liked how like their nose turned out. I feel like I drew it very strong. Like I think in my digital art I tend to emphasize very strong noses, and I think you can kind of see it here. I also really like his jaw. It's a very square jaw, right? Like it's more masculine than I usually do it, which is a really nice change of pace. I also like his glasses, and I'm drawing the hair now, and the hair is like my favorite part of this individual's look and also this drawing. I feel like the long hair, like coupled with this subject's like very masculine, strong set features, kind of gives me James from Pokemon. I know that's a very, very strange thing to say, but it's true. I love the fringe. Look at how fluffy it is. Ooh, look at that shape. Wow, it's so shapely. I love that I kept like the square motif going. I think that's really, really cool. Man, some of these sketches were really banger. And yeah, and that's the last sketch I want to like show you for today as I head back home that day. And yeah, thank you so much for indulging me all the way until now of this silly like impulsive video. I realized like I put in way too much effort into my previous video, and while I'm proud of it, I realized that, you know what, I want this channel to chronicle like silly little art adventures that I decide to do with like my sketchbook when I don't want to make iPad artwork. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm gonna figure out what I want to do with this channel, but until then, I hope to see you in the next one, and take care of yourself. Bye bye.